Hey everybody, this video goes out to Carl Eastwood 64, who on my last video on my wool hunting shirt requested that I show how the hood is attached. For starters on this hood, I'll tell you how I measured it out and decided how much material I was going to use. First off, I took the width of the neck opening in the shirt, which is here to here. Pretty simple. This is as it sits on my shoulders. Here you have the front opening here where the slit is, so I can get over my head. But the width of this opening is how wide a piece of material I made my hood out of, because I wanted this seam to match up, the collar and the hood to match up all the way around. You can see, I'll flip it over so you can see the back. You can see how that matches all the way around, and here's the seam in the back. So basically what you ended up with, sorry, there's going to be a lot of motion because I'm holding my phone in one hand to film this and moving everything with my other hand. Basically, I just have a rectangular piece of material, just like that. Alright, so measured my material, so I knew how long I wanted it to be this way. As far as the length, I just draped it over the top of my head and cut a length that I thought felt good. After I have my big giant rectangle cut out, I took and I sewed it up the back. You can see it's kind of got a point in the back. I thought about rounding that off, but I figured, what the heck, why not? Just gives me a little bit of airspace on the back of my head and helps me keep warm. The stitching I used, this is just a yarn. This is some camouflage multicolored yarn that I had left over from another project. You see how I stitch that. I would go this direction and stitch it through, and then I'd stitch back through the same holes to give it a double stitch. I'll show you this, the edging I did in brown, so you can really see that double stitch a lot more clearly with that brown yarn. Alright, so I stitched up the back, just like that. And then I've had some other projects in the past where I was stitching it and my stitching wasn't as consistent as I thought it was, and so I'd start here, and by the time I got back to the other side over here, I'd done it too tight, and I was short by like an inch or two. So to keep that from happening, when I stitched this hood on, what I actually did was I started here in the back center, right there, and I stitched out to this edge here, making sure it matched up, and then I went back, because remember I double stitched all this, and then I stitched all the way to this corner here, and then back to the center. That way I knew everything was going to match up just like I wanted it to. So with that, that gave me full attachment all the way around for my hood. Just like that. Now all I have left to do at that point is to finish the edges off. And that was really simple to do. I just started here at the base of the neck opening. And I just folded over that material about 1/4 inch and just trimmed it all the way around, back to the neck and back around. So now I've got a folded trim all the way around the neck opening to keep everything from fraying out. It's the same thing I did on the side slits. Exact same thing, just to keep it from fraying. The bottom edge is the original blanket trim, so I didn't have to do that. And the same thing with the ends of the sleeves. And that's the original edge of the blanket, so I didn't have to do anything with that. That kind of simplified the process, made my life a heck of a lot easier, which I'm all about. So, now, that gave me a nice, generously sized hood. It's attached on there. I'm not going to have to worry about it fraying. Good and warm, good and sturdy. And that is that. So, hope that answered your questions there about how that hood goes on. And, bonus, you get to see how it goes on. You also get to a walkthrough of how I made it. Really, really simple, guys. This whole shirt, I mean, it's ridiculously simple. I followed the instructions on Dave Canterbury's YouTube video, which I think my video was a response to. That's how I have it posted, so you should be able to find his video pretty simply. I mean, really simple instructions, really easy to follow, and then I just made this up because it just made sense. I mean, it was nothing really complicated here. Just a nice, simple, functional shirt. One other thing I want to show you guys while I've got you is one of my new Christmas presents. Actually, this pouch here I've had for a while. I made it at the beginning of last year, I think, just out of some leather scrap I had lying around. But what's inside this pouch is what's really cool. It's something my wife gave me because she's awesome. Nice brass tinderbox. If you haven't ever seen one of these things, they are very cool. The top here, got that little cap comes off, and it's actually got a magnifying glass built into it. So you can use that for fire starting on nice bright sunny days, or when it's not bright and sunny, it came with flint and steel striker. You can see I've got some jute cord and some little pieces of fat wood as well as my char cloth in there just to help get my fire started. It also came with this thing here. It's a piece of cotton rope with a brass tube. And basically the way I understand this is supposed to be used is you strike your spark into your char cloth, and then you pull the rope out this tube, which I can't do with one hand, or else I'd show you. You have about, a half inch sticking out this end of the tube. You put that up to your char cloth and you blow on it and you ignite the end of this rope. Well, then you can use this rope to start a fire, you can use it to light your pipe, you can use it whatever, and then you just pull that rope back up inside this brass tube and it puts it out and you can use it again and again and again, which I thought was a pretty slick idea. You can see everything just fits in here, just like so. And everything just closes back up just like that. It's very tight. I'm guessing it's probably watertight. It's not much use in making a tinderbox if it's not watertight. Holds everything really nicely. And the coolest part for me was, well, actually not the coolest part. One of the coolest things about it was I made this pouch for an old tinder kit I had that I made in an Altoids tin. Just something really basic. I punched a hole in it so I can make char cloth. And this pouch fits this tinderbox perfectly. See, I just have the leather lace that you just pull down to tighten that puppy in there. There it is. So, just thought y'all get a kick out of that. I've always got some kind of little project I'm working on. I like to work with leather. That's when I made that. And just thought I'd show you that tinderbox, brag on my wife a little bit. She also got me a cold steel trail tomahawk, which I'm having a lot of fun with. But, alright. Well, that's all for now, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching.